Hello and a very good evening to all our viewers. You're logged on to Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, ThePapare.com, and the rugby action continues for the 13th week. This is the Dialog Rugby League 2019-2020 encounter between Police Sports Club and CRNFC. A much better encounter because this encounter is tipped to be the encounter that will decide who will take the second place in this Dialog Rugby League. It will be a very crucial factor when it comes to that second place spot because Kandy Sports have already on song to that Dialog Rugby League title, their sixth title back-to-back in this modern age. And joining me alongside to take you through this pre-game chat show is Abdullah. Abdullah, very good evening to you.
It's a good evening, Inshaf. Yes, as you very correctly said, a very big game for both these teams, vying for that number 2 spot. Quite a distance between Kandy and the rest of the teams, but again, a lot at stake for both these teams. They would like to finish number 2 in the regular season, going into that super round stage. So I think everything to play for both these teams.
It's going to be very important when it comes to those extra 2 rounds that the Dialog Rugby League is going to have in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, CRNFC also bringing in a new looked team. We'll come back to that later. But the conditions here, Abdullah, is not going to be too helpful for the players. It's very humid. The conditions are not helping the players, but expect some good free-flowing rugby.
Yes, the conditions are dry. That's the plus part about the whole thing. So both teams, no doubt, will look to try and run the ball at every given opportunity rather than going into contact. So that's something which I'm sure most spectators will appreciate as well. But again, as you very correctly said, the humidity factor, I think that's going to play a crucial part as this game goes on. And that's where the bench strength of both these teams is going to come into play as we progress probably into the last quarter of the game.
To take a look at the conditions, the weather conditions today, I think, like you said, Abdullah, it's a very very hot atmosphere prevailing at the moment at Police Park. Temperatures can go beyond that territory. This is what we have on the prediction, but it's going to go beyond that. But then what's good is that Police Sports Club, once again with the additions of the Silva brothers and Vunivosa, are playing as that police team like they played in the first round. But in the meantime, CRNFC have a lot of responsibility on their plate this time around because they'll need to win this game if they need to finish on top.
Yes, the amount of new recruits that CRNFC did during the off-season, it was expected that they would be able to give Kandy a better run during this league, but it's not been the case. So I'm sure from their point of view, the very least they would expect is to finish as runners-up. From Police Sports Club's point of view, it's fair to say that they have been the surprise package of this season. I don't think anyone quite expected them to be in the top 3, but here they are currently lying in second place and with a great opportunity for them to cement that number 2 spot at the end of today's game.
There you go. That's the early prediction here at the Police CR encounter. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at what has happened in this Dialog Rugby League in week number 13.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර්, සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
Ceylon personal loan කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? 5කින් දවස මැච් බලන්න පුළුවන්නේ.
දැන් මුළු දවසම ක්‍රිකට්, රග්බි, ෆුට්බෝල්, වොලිබෝල් එකී මෙකී නොකී ඕනෑම තරගයක් බලන්න. ඔබට වැය වෙන්නේ රුපියල් 5යි. පිවිසෙන්න. බලන්න. සබස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න.
உங்கள் கிராமத்தில், உங்கள் நகரில், உங்கள் பிரதேசத்தில் உள்ள வீரர்கள் திறமையானவர்களா? அவளின் திறமைகளை நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டுமா? தமிழ் பேசும் உங்களின் திறமைகளை உலகறியச் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கான யூடியூப் சேனல் www.youtube.com/ThePapare Tamil.
Welcome back to live pictures here at Police Park. You're locked on to Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, ThePapare.com. And we're talking through this Dialog Rugby League. It has been 12 tiring weeks so far. We're on to the 13th week. And last week, CRNFC went all the way down to Kandy and didn't get what they wanted. Still 12 weeks inside, they're still having those problems in their backline. They don't have their defenses right. But Kandy Sports Club look to be on a different level.
Yes, most definitely. And also playing in Kandy is never an easy task at the best of times. But also the fact that they probably realized that the league is away, that is also would have had an impact on the psyche of the team. But nonetheless, you'd expect them to go and put up a better fight at the very least. But when it comes to Kandy, I don't think any of the teams have been able to do that, and that's why the league finds itself in this current situation.
Police Sports Club once again back to their usual strengths of fast running rugby. 47 points, 31. Navy Sports Club once again very unlucky for yet another week. Havelock Sports Club getting the best of it. So that's how last week spanned out. We'll take a look at how this week has spanned out. We saw 2 games, and once again Army Sports Club been very fortunate to take away that win against CH. CH has been the disappointing team this year. After finishing 3rd last year, they've just slumped down to 6th place.
Yes, and especially considering the depth they have in their squad, isn't it, in Shaf? We were talking about Police being the surprise package, but if you have to take it the other way, CH have been the overwhelming disappointment, really. And with the squad depth they have, you'd really have expected them to be pushing the top teams in this league, but it just hasn't been the case. So let's just hope that for their sake, the amount of investment that has been taken place in terms of recruiting those players, that they'll be able to put a better show in the knockouts.
Navy winning that one, 24 points to 21, one of the few Navy wins we've seen this season, but a lot to talk about that Navy team as well. A lot of young prospects. We saw the likes of a lot of players coming up the ranks. Nimesh Ekanayak, a former Trinity player, also making his debut in the Navy jersey. But what's important for Navy is to play together, because they've got their basics right. It's that they fail at that final point. But when it comes to CRNFC, there's one player whose name has been synonymous to their success. Janil Dilshan leading the top try scorers list. Abdullah, he's been a revelation this season.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting. Coach Dishant deciding to move him to the wing 3/4, and he's definitely benefited. He's finished his moves on many occasions whenever CR has managed to give him a bit of room. Whether in the long term that is going to be his best position, time will say, but so far he's been outstanding for CR on that wing.
Playing his second week, but this lad, Tadin Ratwat, ever since he's made that switch from CRNFC to Kandy, he's been unstoppable. Undoubtedly one of the best players at this moment in the Dialog Rugby League, and filling that number 12 void was a challenge for Kandy for so long. Even last year they were struggling, but then I think Ratwat just fitted in perfectly for Kandy Sports Club.
Yeah, that's right. Other than being the leading point scorer of this league, the fact that he has been able to combine extremely well with his namesake skipper Ratwata as well has played a big part in Kandy's success. And both of them, with their ability to read what's in front of them, as well as their ability to distribute to their outside backs, has played a big part in Kandy's success this season.
Kandy's success coming in numbers. They've just managed to get their 12th win last week. Out of that, just 10 matches. They've only just 2 matches. They've not been able to win that bonus point at the moment. They've got the best tally at the moment, and also Kandy Sports Club playing Havelock Sports Club today at Nithara. That's going to be an exciting game. It's also live on ThePapare.com. This was what happened last time around, Abdullah, when CRNFC played Police once again. Was the opening week of the Dialog Rugby League. Were very different conditions to what we see right now. CRNFC leading at halftime, and Police Sports Club somehow or the other fought back in that second half, but it was not enough to beat CRNFC.
Yes, vastly different conditions. It was a very heavy CRNFC ground that they had to play under, and once CRNFC took that early lead, it was always going to be very difficult for Police to catch up at the last moment. And there we saw Vimukti.
That was Gamunu Chetia, I think, was in the forefront of scoring for CRNFC. It was a young backline that Coach Dushant Luke employed in the first few games. Dinu Kamarasinghe combining with Gamunu Chetia. But then there you go, that has made the difference for Police. Imo Simunibosa has been the revelation for the Cops all throughout this season. Lost out a few games due to injury in a match or two, but then came back strong, and I think he's been a live wire in this Police team.
Yeah, that's right. So the conditions were vastly different, and also both teams were in different stages of their preparation or the form going into that game, which is very early in the season. But here you just sense that Police have got a bit more momentum going in their favour, and that has played a big part in them finding themselves in this second place. And there's no doubt that as the season has progressed, they've just got better and better. So joining me in the commentary today, Shanaka Amarasinghe. Welcome, Shanaka.
Thanks very much, Abdullah. Exciting game on our hands, of course. two second place up on the up for grabs, and of course Havelocks are going in as underdogs in this match today in Nithavala. So both of these teams playing here at Police Park will imagine that Havelocks are not going to win that game, and that will perhaps motivate them a little bit further as they battle for the second place in this Dialog Rugby League. And as you were talking about a little while ago, Abdullah, it was let's look at this Police Sports Club team first. Hashan Fernando, Rasid Silva has been really good at number 2. Danushka Edirasurya, Mohan Bimalaratnan, Udara Surya Peremo, a good line out between those two. Nisal Samadhi, Vakisha Veerasinghe, again somebody that nobody really talks of on that open side, but has been absolutely superb for Police. Kavinda Jayasurya comes in place of Shanika Harishchandra, who's not figured this season. Primesh Danushka, Johan Piris are the starting halves combination. Johan Piris is not the fastest in the world, but he's a smart player. Sachit Silva, and of course then Imosi Vunivosa has probably been the player of this Dialog Club Rugby season so far. Roshan Silva, Kasun Rajakaruna and Suranga Kasun coming up in the last line of defence, and not seeing the likes of Eroshan Silva on the park today. So that that is actually Eroshan Silva, not Roshan Silva, in the number 13 jersey. So that's the second place team in the league, Abdullah, and it's got not got a lot of household names on it, but just been playing really good rugby.
Especially the forward pack. I think although they haven't had very well established names, they've all been able to pull together at the correct time and cause a lot of problems for their opposition. And of course they managed to give some good quality ball for the likes of Univosa to exploit, and I'm sure they will be expecting that kind of performance from him today as well.
Certainly will do. He has been a real revelation for me watching this Dialog Rugby League, and it's just a work rate at the intelligence of the player. We'll talk about that a little while later as we look at the men who are coming here to Police Park to try and repeat what happened in the first round. Ashan Fernando, Ifam Farid starts in place of Supun Vandakula Surya today. That will be an interesting shift. Induvara Ranatunga, Gayan Dilshan, Lahiru Yomal also, another youngster getting his first start today. Shamal Veerasekara, Risit Kavyanjana and Jero Dhananjaya goes in at number 8. So CRNFC hit pretty hard by injuries. Rahul De Silva, Steven Sivaraj makes a welcome return to the starting 15. Riza Rafaidin on the left wing. Tuleb Hassan also starting. Murshid Zubair moves out one to number 13. Sandun Herat makes a welcome return back, as does the experience of Riza Mubarak. So really hard hit. No Janidu Dilshan in this lineup. No Dinu Kamarasinghe in this lineup. So those are two big stars, two young stars that CRNFC will desperately miss today.
Yes, especially it'll be interesting to see how that 12 and 13 combination go. It'll be a real baptism of fire for them up against a quality player like Univosa, but they'll definitely benefit from the experience of playing against a player of his quality. How well they match up to it, time will tell. But there's a real experimental feel to this CRNFC outfit. Coach Luke deciding to give a lot of his bench players a run, probably with the intention of resting and freshening up some of his established players, as well as just trying and building up that depth for the seasons ahead.
Surprising to see Omalka Gunaratna on the bench today, so he's not starting the skipper, and that's an interesting call, because normally if you are carrying an injury you would tend to start the player rather than have him on the bench. So it looks like it's a deliberate move by coach Dushant Luke to bring Omalka Gunaratna's experience, his power, his destructive nature on later on in this game. Of course, Riza Mubarak will be quite crucial to this game, I think, because they've been leaving a few three-point opportunities on the park, CRNFC, in their last few outings, Abdullah, and this time in this close match they will probably need all the points that they can get.
Yeah, that's right. In close encounters, the place kicking could prove crucial, and of course, Riza pinpoint accuracy with his kicking, that's something that's a given even before game starts. And also I think the CR backline will benefit from his experience at the back as well. It's a very youthful looking three-quarter line with Sivaraj, Zubair as well as Tuleb Hassan just making probably his debut if I'm not mistaken. So having Riza at the back will definitely benefit CRNFC in this game.
Yes, at 10, 12, 13 combination you have to feel for backs coach Mohammad Mushtaq, because you don't really plan this much for injuries, Abdullah. It's not the kind of depth of resources that these clubs have, that they have 40, 50 players to pick from. So if your best players are injured, generally you're left scrambling. And if you look at CR's bench as well, they have 6 forwards on that bench, which only 2 backs, and both of them are specialized in the half-back positions also. So starting off a little bit on the back foot, but it gives an opportunity for guys like Tuleb Hassan, who have had outstanding school seasons, a league-winning captain, to come through and really show what he can do and what he can bring to this CRNFC lineup. So this is where young players really need to thrive, and young players need to see injuries to seniors as an opportunity rather than a downside.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they will also benefit, as we were just talking earlier, about playing against some good quality opposition, especially the physical aspect of it. We know Tulip Hassan was had real physical presence about him during his school playing days. He'll have to bring that same kind of physicality in today's game because he's up against a quality player like Vunivosa, so it'll be a real test of his character as well. And I'm sure that experience will definitely benefit him, and also how well he combines with another player like Zubair, who is also a really good playmaker as well. If he can just manage to give him a bit of room, a bit of space, then definitely Hassan can get over that gain line and get some good front football for his CR forwards to run onto.
But it's one for the future, isn't it, Abdullah? We're talking about the future, even though the first choice combination of Amanu Singh and Janitha Dilshan are still very, very young players. But you're looking at Tulip Hassan and looking at Mohammad Zubair, and you're looking at two guys who have captained their colleges, who have that leadership experience, who can read a game pretty well also, and have good basic skills. So it's going to be an interesting one for me, but they'll find out pretty quickly that Imosi Vunivosa is a different kettle of fish. You may have come up against big players in school, you may have come up against tough players in school, but this guy is just the finished article, isn't he, Abdullah? And he's still already so young, Imosi, and he's carrying an injury as well. And it's just lovely to see how he just draws defenses, knows when to run, when to pass, the accuracy of his passing, his decision making. It's wonderful to watch. I'm not sure Tuleb and Zubair will appreciate it standing opposite him, but for us in the commentary box, it's just wonderful.
Well, it'll definitely be a learning experience for both of them. There's no doubt about that. It's just Vunivosa's ability to bring his other players into the game. He's not your traditional 12 where he will just barge through, just take hits and try and run by himself. But he will try and bring other players into the game. He's got this wonderful offloading ability, and I think that is something defensively that both these centres will have to keep an eye on.
Just watching him last week in the game that Police played, just his ability to make a tackle, bounce back, and then hit the support line, create the opportunity for his winger. Just a wonderful player to watch. Abdullah, I'm looking forward to seeing him playing well today as well. Looking forward to a game with a lot of tries. I think these two teams, given the injuries that they've been hit with as well, I think will be desperate for a win. And I think it's going to be a nice, fast, open game, because that's the philosophy that both of these two teams have come to this Dialog Rugby League with. And the red shirts and the blue shirts will go against each other in what is an all-important clash for second place. So we have the teams lining up to be introduced to the chief guests. Have senior DIG, now retired, Mr. Latif, to be introduced as the chief guest. He'll be accompanied by officials from both police and CRNFC. So this is a grudge battle. I think police were perhaps not in the right stride when they met in the opening weekend of the season. And I think the police team we see now is a completely different police team that we saw in that opening matchup, Della. So that's going to take a lot of undoing.
Yes, and the conditions are vastly different as well. But more importantly, as you mentioned, Shanaka, the form. At that time, police probably hadn't quite hit their straps. But as this league has progressed, they have been the team that has been building week on week, improving week on week. And I think today they'll definitely want to win this game and just try and seal that number 2 place with a round to spare.
Sriyan Kure, president of the CRNFC, shaking hands with his team. And who would have thought that after so many weeks of brilliant Dialog Rugby League action, that you will be seeing police as the team that are really competing at the top. That just shows what difference one good quality player can make, Abdullah. So what do you think this experiment means, this police team's place here, as opposed to maybe Army, Navy and Air Force, who also have a foreign player? How do you see them having used that advantage, if you like, of the rule of giving one foreign player per bottom place team?
Yes, well, I think it's also the quality of the foreign player. probably look at Army's foreign play. He's more of a player who will just carry the ball and just run and try and break tackles. But Vunivosa, on the other hand, he has got the ability to do that, but he's always constantly looking for support as well. He knows at what moment he needs to offload. He's getting the rest of the team involved. He's not just trying to do it everything by himself, and I think that has played a big part in where Police find themselves so far in this league. And also, if you probably ask the union officials, they will probably say, look, this is what a good foreigner can do to a bottom place team, although there were a lot of objections at the beginning of the league and going back to last year as well.
Well, you still have a completely homegrown team, which is way out in front, so I guess there's a lot more to consider than just the inclusion of a foreign player or the non-inclusion of a foreign player. Ultimately, it's the quality of your local players that matters. Hasanta Veranga in charge today. Dilun Dishana and Kalum Sandaruan will be his assistants as we kick off at Police Park in this game. That is a battle for second place. And the initial mistake made from Police, how they will respond to that pressure is going to be important. Turned over quickly by CRNFC. Rahul De Silva waits. And the forward runners immediately into the action. Ifam Farid makes his first carry. Good to see him in the red jersey after the blue and gold hoops of Royal, where he was so devastating.
Stay back.
Calling out for Farid again. Here he is. Diminutive player, but so much power. De Silva. Here he is now, handing off to Ashan Fernando.
Stay back.
Goes back the way he came from. So CRNFC shifting the points of their attack. Gayan Dilshan has been good for CR since starting. Mubarak in the line. Murshid Zubair makes a considered decision to cut back infield. Didn't have much happening outside him. CR's big forward pod waits. And Police's defense is up to the task. They fly up. But the ball is available for Rahul De Silva again. The pass to Fernando is not a good one, but he manages to make it available. So good continuity. About 4 or 5 phrases already from CR. Here's Sivaraj. Stepping back infield is Tule Basan. Tackled by Richard Silva. Or Hashan Fernando. It was in the number 16 jersey. Rahul De Silva again with some space now. Murshid Zubair. Oh, it's a lovely pass, but just Sivaraj takes his eye off it, and here's another opportunity for Police on the counter-attack, but just couldn't make things work. And there would have been a brilliant pass from Murshid Zubair if Sivaraj had just been expecting it. Managed to break the players' defense, the first line of defense, but that's the understanding of this new combination that needs to maybe evolve a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. I think it'll take a bit of time for them to just get that timing of the passes, that understanding going. But good first few phases by CRNFC. Unfortunately, couldn't quite make it count. But nonetheless, I think that'll probably give them a bit of confidence.
Johan Pires with a wonderful kick right down the touchline. Gives them about 60-meter gain almost. 50 meters at least. And Police's line-out has been one of the better ones in the competition, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's right. It's been solid without being flash. So they've just done the basics correctly. They've just gone to number 2 or number 4. It's gone to number 2. It's been flat and hard, and the accuracy level has been very good. And this is a wonderful touch find by Johan De Silva, and gives us Police a wonderful opportunity to enforce a driving maul if they can get some good clean line-out ball.
Udara Surya Peruma in the front of the line-out. Here's the front peel, but Farid gets his hands in there. Richard Silva asking for a deliberate knockdown, but let's see what the referee and the assistant have to say to each other.
Yes, I think Ifam just found himself in the midst of that pass. I don't think it was deliberate by any means. So nonetheless, another great attacking opportunity for Police.
Line out.
It's a wonderful front peel. Fortunately for Police, Ifam just ended up being in between that final pass and a try.
Goes again to Surya Peruma, and this time they set up
Number 4.
And it collapses, and the referee doesn't have his arm out, which means the collapse was not illegal. So now we move from one 22 to the other. CRNFC hot on attack, one mistake, and suddenly they're hot on defense. Here's quick ball for Primesh Danushka. Vunivosa with a lovely floated ball, but that's one of the few errors he's made. Looking for his wide route runner. It seemed to be the right decision, but just somehow can see him coming back with a wry smile. That's not a usual mistake for him to make.
So I think from those kind of situations, it would be better for Vunivosa to actually try and get over that first line of defense rather than look to pass it out wide. And even if probably the ball had gone to the winger's hand, Sierra could drift defense had that covered. So a small reprieve for CRNFC. It's important just get some good clean ball and get out of that 22 as fast as possible.
Looking at that 12-13 combination for Police as well. Roshan Silva and Vunivosa, big lads. Real physical presence in the center of the midfield there. Rahul De Silva will probably look to his left boot, and Vagisha Veerasinga tries to pressure, but it's a good kick in the end by Rahul. Not a lot of distance, but enough to buy his team some breathing space.
Yes, already it's lining up to be a really exciting contest. It's 5 minutes into this game, and we've seen both teams having a presence in each other's 22.
Rishit Silva now to try and finish what he started on the 22-meter line. Beautiful work that time by Mohan Vimalaratne in the middle of the line out. Surya Peruma at the front and Vimalaratne in the middle has been the combination that Police have used all season. Good fringe defense by CRNFC that time, just slowing the ball down for Primesh Danushka, and Surya Peruma standing at first receiver now makes a little dart, and Vunivosa is dragged down by Tuleb Hassan. He's been given a brief, I would think. Hassan, that's your man, he mustn't move.
Yeah, that's right. Tuleb is just rushing up to that to his opposite number, as you said, just not giving Vunivosa any room whatsoever. So it's a good tactic. Let's see as this game progresses how well he'll be able to execute it. Nullifying the Vunivosa threat will go a long way in CRNFC winning this game. So first penalty within kicking range in favor of Police. Looks like Johan Silva has pointed towards the post.
Should be easy pickings for Johan Pires. He's not the most talked about kicker, but at home at Police Park, he's got the job done. Makes way usually in the second half for Janit Chandimal, but Coach Asanka Rodrigo likes the accuracy and the sensibility he brings to Police's play. Gives them good field position. Police Park is hushed as they wait for Johan Pires to open the scoring, which he does. 3 points to nil in favor of Police Sports Club. Remember that the winner of this will probably have rights to second place in the Dialog Rugby League. And Johan Pires puts his team well on the road to that, but of course, under 10 minutes gone.
Yes, just the start that Police would have wanted. First points on the board for them. This is important for CRNFC after those first few minutes, threatening, not being able to capitalize. They find themselves 3 points to nil down. Yeah, you'd have to give the CRNFC team a few minutes to just settle down. It's a very young team. As we were mentioning earlier, Shanaka, a bit of experimentation feel to this outfit. So it'll probably take them a bit of time for them to find their bearings.
This is an interesting blend of experience, but perhaps not in the crucial positions, as a second restart is botched by Police. And now CRNFC have it again in the same way they had it previously. Here's Hassan using his bulk against the tackle of Nisal Samadhi. And that's Umosi Vunivosa coming straight through, and he's lucky not to maybe give away a penalty. Coming in from the side there. Didn't join the ruck, but was the ball out for long enough? Referee Asatta Veranga says instead that he will come back for the penalty, for the knock-on.
It's always one of those 50-50 calls, but probably Vunivosa timed his run to perfection, not overstepping the mark as well.
Hurry up, boys.
Looks like Steven Sivaraj is already off. Abdullah might have picked up an injury in that last movement where he dropped the pass.
Bind.
And Omalka Gunaratne looks like he's on as well, so
Steady, both steady.
not quite the team sheet we expected. Inside ball from Chandimal, which is picked off, unsurprisingly.
Stay back, ready.
It's not a lot of guile in Chandimal's play. You can
Stay
see the
back,
inside ball coming from last week, really. And Johan Pires comes this one into space. Omalka Gunaratne is back. Bumps off 2 tacklers, now 3. Still going, but eventually dragged down by Roshan Silva. Murshid Zubair, now Jero Dhananjay is out in midfield.
Stay back, blue.
Gayan Jayamana stepping inside, makes some good yards. And here's some space now perhaps for Hassan. Good tackle in the end by Police. That was Kasun Rajakarna on the far side, making a dominant tackle.
Stay back.
Vagisha Veerasinghe looking for an opportunity. The Police number 7 hanging around in this defensive line. Again, Gayan Jayamana showing that he was not happy with that, but holding on is a call from referee Veerange and the correct call.
Yes, wonderful work by Rasid Silva, just managing him to get his hands on the ball and maintain his balance at the same time. So CRNFC showing flashes of brilliance, but unfortunately just not able to contain the pressure as long as they would like. Police also showing some good patience in defense, just coming at the correct moment to try and spoil CRNFC's efforts. And another wonderful kick by Johan Silva. This is the second such kick that he has planted just a few meters away from CRNFC's goal line, and has given his forwards another great attacking platform.
So interesting couple of early calls from Coach Leuke to make the changes. Unless, of course, Sivaraj was an injury. Unlikely that both of them are injuries, with Omalka and the experienced Chandimal coming on. But this is where Police can be really dangerous. Udara Surya Peruma at the front again. They set up. Shamal Veerasekara finds himself on the floor, but luckily for him doesn't give away a penalty. Police now in the area that they like. Inches away from the line. This is where Rasid Silva is so dangerous if he can get his hands on the ball. Surya Peruma looking to carry. And looks like they might have gotten over the line, but the referee is not quite sure. And it's Rahul De Silva, I think, who comes up with the ball, as does Hashan Fernando, the Police prop, the number 16. And the try is scored, so Hashan Fernando looks like he's touched down. Chanaka Chandimal is having a bit of a go at referee Asantha Veerange, but that's not going to change his decision at all. So the consultation happens with the assistant referee, who was on the far side and probably had a better view of the grounding if there was one. And the first try for Police from that dangerous position, a 5-meter line out, and they're pretty much unstoppable from there.
Yeah, that's right. CRNFC, I thought, did well to neutralize that initial driving maul, but Police just being very clever in how they just ensured that they carried on from that stoppage. It was not quite a maul, it was more a drive, good body position, and it was very hard for the CR forwards to contain that.
Yes, they sucked in the defenders early, splintered the Sia forwards and then attacked it efficiently. So it's not just the backs that have been doing well with Vunivosa there, but Police's forwards really have done their job as well. And that time Johan Pires just can't find his target, but it won't matter because 8 points to nil up already. And CRNFC have looked decidedly the second best team on the park so far. They will need to have someone take this game by the scruff of its neck.
This is an interesting call for Police to start with Johan Silva ahead of the other Chandimal, Janindu Chandimal, isn't it, Shanaka? But you can understand why. Tactically, he's a very shrewd player. Maybe not have the flair that Chandimal brings to the party, but they probably rely on Chandimal to bring that bit of flair as the game progresses during the second part of the half.
Yes, I think it's a very deliberate call to be made. I think you find international coaches as well having two very different fly halves in their squad. And as the opposition comes into play, depending on who you're playing and depending at what time of the game, they choose which one to insert. And I think Asanka Rodrigo has done this very deliberately, made sure that Johan Pires gives his team field position early on, tries to pile on the points early, and then if they've got a few problems, then Janit Chandimal can come on and turn on the flare. So Sia with their first line out, lucky to get away with that throw that's a little wayward. But Jero Jananja now standing in midfield, but runs into the full wrath of Vagisha Veerasekara and his assistants.
Stay back.
Rahul De Silva. That's an excellent tackle. Vagisha Veerasekara once again. Really looks like he's up for this game against his old club, Veerasekara, but just started a little bit before the starter's gun.
So interesting call that Sia need to make. Do they go for the points? Do they go to the post? And looks like they made the decision to go for the post, which is in all probably the correct call. You've got a kick of Mubarak's caliber. Got to take points whenever it's offering. It's just 15 minutes into the game. Police just 8 points ahead, so by Riza's standards, generally should not have any problem in slotting this through.
Yes, it's a sensible decision. I think it's easy to get carried away when the opposition has just scored a try. But must remember that it's just 8 points to nil and 8 points to 3. Getting your team on the scoreboard will make a huge difference. As maybe settle the nerves of these young Sia lads. Strikes it well, but yes, it's a good kick in the end. Just about 40 meters as the crow flies, and Mubarak has the first points for CRNFC.
Just coming back to that penalty, Shanaka, it was an interesting call. Vagisha felt that he was on side. He felt he had timed his run to perfection. But it's always the perception that it creates, isn't it? That always makes the referee in doubt, and generally they tend to favor the attacking team on those occasions.
I think quick players, players who are really good at timing their runs, sometimes get short shrift. And exit from Mubarak again takes his team up to halfway, but the chase is non-existent from CR. Here's Suranga Kasun.
Go! Stay ready.
Runs it all the way into the 35-meter mark or so of CR territory. Tule Bhasan makes an important tackle. Primesh Danushka now. Here's Suranga Kasun in the line once again, runs behind his players. And in the end manages to find a willing runner. Johan Pires. Here's Vunivosa. In fact, here's Vunivosa. And that's a nice short pass, just giving the ball to Vagisha Veerasekara, who's been entrusted with these tramline duties. Jero Jananja misses the first one-on-one. And Veerasekara showing his prowess on attack as well. Will be keen to not allowed the damage from that penalty to be too much. And here's a stretch from Suranga Kasun. Throws the pass. It may have drifted forward, but no, says the referee. Here it is. Good continuity from Police once again. Hashan Fernando, the try scorer. Here it is through Surya Peruma once again looking for Vunivosa. Vunivosa puts the pedal to the metal that time, but manages to make the pass. Sia's defense has held so far, but they're conceding territory with every phase. Surya Peruma to Risit Silva. And that's a lovely angle. Beautiful work from Police. And here's nice quick ball. Sierra short of numbers. Rajakaruna going as close to the line as he can, and that's a try. Really well done in the end. And it was Rajakaruna who came off the right wing. And in the end, the try was scored by Kavinda Jayasundara. And CRNFC look like they're at 6s and 7s here on defense, not making any real physical impact on this Police team, who have done brilliantly to recover from that restart and play the ball all the way back to the try line, Abdullah. Good continuity.
Good continuity and good discipline, isn't it? They never pushed the issue at any moment by just throwing a loose pass. They took it into contact, recycled the ball. There was one instance here and just went over. Sia just did not have enough numbers at that breakdown to defend. So Johan Silva with an opportunity to further extend this lead. He's currently standing at 13 points to 3.
So he's had one easy kick and a couple of very difficult ones, Johan Pires. He's missed the 2 difficult ones, but he's got the easy one, which is what a coach would want. And we've come to the water break. And can't be enough of those really, given the humidity that these players find themselves playing in. Made the long walk across all of Police Park from that far gate near the pavilion, Abdullah, and I don't think I have enough breath left to commentate, really. It's just so hot and so muggy.
Just coming back to that try, Shanaka, we just saw in the build-up to that try how Police worked the ball end to end. And there was this one instance here on this right flank where Wagisha got the ball. He didn't have any room, but he just cut back brilliantly. He could have just kept on running, which means in all probability he would have been bundled out into touch. He just cut in, ensured that Police were able to create another phase. He ran back into his support, and that's just the kind of intelligent player that he is. And it's those little things that eventually enabled Police to put the finish.
But the difference here being the fact that Wagisha found himself on the wing, but he's a flank forward. So everybody knows that they're the most intelligent players on the rugby pitch, which is why he probably was able to execute your instructions, which wingers can't do.
So you're implying about the wing 3/4, Shanika?
It's not an implication, Abdullah. It's obvious, isn't it? Riza Mubarak restarts for the 3rd time in this game, which he would think maybe too many in the first 23 minutes. And again, the restart is not a good one, but Sia haven't been able to capitalize on that fact.
Yeah, that's right. And Police's restarts haven't been that great either. They're pretty adamant on lifting Surya Peruma, but this is the 2nd occasion where he hasn't been able to catch the ball while in there. So maybe something that they will need to look at. But having said that, a great attacking opportunity for CRNFC. It's important that they try and create something. So it looks like Omalka is back off the field and Rasit Kavanja is back on with the bandage around his head. So it was probably a blood injury more than anything else.
Yes, Rasit, the former royalist. good work rate. And here's his former teammate, Tuleb Hassan, current teammate as well. Chanaka Chandimal, now Reza Mubarak injects himself into the line. Sandun Herat, first time he's touched the ball today. But unfortunately, Herat couldn't stay in field, Abdullah, and proves the point I was making a few minutes ago.
As well, Sandun Herat, load of experience. One of the best wing three-quarters in his pomp. Making a comeback into this CRNFC outfit after some time. Was carrying a bit of a knee injury, I believe, or ankle injury.
Hamstring, in fact, Abdullah. A couple of tears in his hamstring.
So Wood should have done a bit better to try and stay in play, create that extra phase, but unfortunately bundled out into touch. And another good clinical line out by Police. Just got to try and get the ball out and clear their lines.
CRNFC resists that a little better this time. But referee has his arm up for advantage. Johan Pires knows the advantage is coming and tries to put this one on the button. But Reza Rafaidin read that well. Ball goes in field and Hassan takes it. But the referee will blow it back for that advantage. But just for a moment, the Police fans had their hearts in their mouths.
Number 4, goal away.
This again probably shows why Johan Silva has been the starting option for Police, but played that penalty brilliantly. Knew that he had a free play card really, if ever there was one. Slotted it, almost worked out well, but fortunately for CR's point of view, the defense just managing to thwart that. Another wonderful touch finder by Johan.
Yes, he's very intelligent. And as intelligence goes, Abdullah, intelligence tends to be unspectacular sometimes because it's just about doing the smart things correctly time after time. And that's what Johan Pires does. And you can see that he's able to read the game. He knows when the advantage is coming. He's able to communicate, say, look, this is the cross kick that's coming. So there's a good understanding in this Police team. And if anybody thinks that it's only Vunivosa that's brought them up to this second position, they probably need to watch the team a little more closely. As Rasid Silva fashions to throw and finds Mohan Vimalaratna at the back, who's been excellent for Police in the air. Lovely pass, and that's a great show and go, and just can't get it into hand. Mubarak throws it, punches it away, but I think there might have been either a forward pass or a knock-on.
I think there was a late hit, if I'm not mistaken, on Vunivosa, as we have a look at that once again. Whether the shoulders were round is the question, but the assistant referee has his flag up.
Well, we did see what happened, and Jero Dhananjaya will go to the bin. There was no arms in that, more than the fact that it was late, I think. If we can watch it again, we'll show it to you. And although it looks innocuous, Abdullah, the issue is that you're being blindsided. You've passed the ball, you're not expecting it to get hit. And that's what makes it more dangerous than just an ordinary late tackle.
That's right. So now the opportunity for Silva to get his team into the 22. As we have a look at that once again. Yes, there was no attempt to get his arms around there, so absolutely the correct decision and very well spotted by the assistant referee as well. There's absolutely no place of that kind of thing in this game.
I think if the tackle was a legitimate one, if he'd used his arms and if it hit him, I think he was committed. But the fact that he chose to lead with the shoulder was the problem there, and the yellow card is well deserved in that instance. Mohan Vimalaratna just can't get up to secure that one. And Reza Rafaidin in a sea of traffic manages to get that ball away. Rasid Silva drops it, but drops it backwards, and Eroshan Silva gets clattered in a good tackle, and Sia have managed to play their way out of trouble with a good chase on that kick. A kick is only as good as its chase. And here's Vimalaratna, who will be ruining that missed opportunity.
Stay.
Here's Vunivos, a lovely flat ball again. Hiroshan Silva, here's a little bit of space now for Kasun Suranga. Throws the ball in field and Shamal Veerasekara manages to keep it in play. And in their home ground, Police will not want anything to go against them. Unnecessary between Kasun Suranga
Line out this come Megadon.
and
Line out
Guy and
this come,
Dilshan. Players are expected not to retaliate. Here's a nice flat ball. Surya Peruma, if he moved that one a little faster, might have given Kasun Suranga the space here. But Shamal Veerasekara does well to keep this in field. And then the ball gets pulled out. Kasun Suranga not sure what he was too upset about there.
Hurry up, boys.
So a scrum after what seems like ages.
Bind. Set.
Primesh Tanushka finds Johan Pires. Here's Vunivosa. Looks for the long pass immediately. Kasun Suranga's in the line. Cutting back infield was Sachit Silva.
Stay. Stay.
Johan Pires again. Hands off to Mohan Vimalaratna. And again the penalty. Asanta Veranga has his hand up. So this is a free play for Police. Surya Peruma. Johan Pires will line up the drop goal, and it's a brilliant one. Is it? No, it's not. It's just been pulled out to the side. But it doesn't matter because, again, the penalty was coming.
That's right. Police mounting immense pressure on this CRNFC defense. Just managing to extract the penalties at the correct time. Like to see him, just been following or rather tracking Vunivosa in this game, Shanaga. He seems to be getting involved in a lot of the breakdowns, the clearing part of it. I think they'll find him much more useful out wide, and when there's a bit of space, as we have a look at that drop goal once again. Just not sure whether he's 100% with regard to his knee injury, where he's just more content in playing his game at close quarters and being that second distributor.
So I think it's a bit of both, Abdullah. I think he is suffering. He's not as free-ranging as he would have liked to be. But I think CRNFC also have maybe done their homework on him, and they want to involve him as much as they can. So probably running into him much more than they otherwise would have. Here's that front peel again. Rasid Silva's got over the line. No, he hasn't. Almost there. Didn't work for them in the first move of the game, but this time they smashed through Ifam Farid. And this is exactly how Police scored their first try of the game. We'll be looking for another one. The Police forwards are pretty deadly from this spot. Shamal Veerasekara's fringe defense is decent. But it's held up, says the referee. So Shamal Veerasekara did really well to save a try for his team there.
But thus far, Shanak, you can just see the difference of one very settled outfit and the other team that's just probably trying to get their combinations, their understanding right. CRNFC just haven't been able to mount pressure consistently thus far in this first 32 to 33 minutes of the game.
Yes, all the new combinations and the combinations in all the important spots as well for CR, in the third row, in the front row, in the midfield. Yes, Primesh Tanushka to Johan Pires. Johan Pires uses his bulk at that time, but looks like they might have gotten over the ball, and Rahul De Silva will shake his head as he gets up there. And a yellow card. Well, that's it's a harsh call.
It's the interesting thing to see there is whether he was actually supporting his body weight. I think the referee just went on that aspect. Maybe in the replay we'll be able to have a look at that. Nonetheless, another wonderful attacking opportunity for Police. If he wasn't, I don't think he would quite blame the referee, because it was very much in the red zone. There we see Rahul. Was he actually supporting his body weight?
Bind.
It's one of those 50-50 calls,
Set.
isn't it?
Well,
Both
yeah, it's a
steady.
really tough one. May have been on his elbows. Oh, that's a brilliant try. In the end, just came out of nowhere. Kavinda Jasundara gets his second try. Nobody really expects you to break on the left. But again, game awareness, Abdullah. He knew that the scrum half had just been yellow carded and there's no defender on that side. So brilliant work from Kavinda Jasundara. Really good, intelligent play.
Absolutely read the situation extremely well. And police, slowly but surely, just imposing their dominance on this CRNFC outfit. Rub of the green definitely hasn't gone CRNFC's way, but take nothing away from police thus far. They have been the team that has managed to ensure continuity in their play, while CRNFC have been good, but just in patches.
Well, I think you're being a little charitable to them, Abdullah. Apart from that first passage of play where they threatened a little bit, I think police have really taken the long arm of the law to them. And Johan Pires is successful with his second kick. And it's 20 points to 3. And not looking pretty at all for the CRNFC lads who've made their way up from Longden Place. Well, we're having something going on here. Sia's team have walked towards the sideline. Rahul De Silva is the second player to be yellow carded. So we might be facing some kind of protest here. Well, we've seen stuff like this happen before in Sri Lankan rugby, Abdullah, but it's not something that you can do in this game. You submit to the referee's authority completely when you come onto the field. And there's processes to be followed, of course, and CR know this better than anybody else. They followed the processes, got referees' decisions overturned last week with that Charo Fernando yellow card. They know that there's a way to do this. And
yes, it's something which you just don't want to see mid-game. Team walking out in protest, or rather stalling the game in protest. It's very unfortunate. Let's hope that Sena Council prevails and both these teams take the field and carry on play.
well, this is a big problem for the match commissioner, isn't it? What can you do? And if CR refuses to play, then they forfeit the game. That's the end of that. Binka Pires is always reassuring to see him out there in the middle. Such an experienced ref. Will be providing all the guidance that his referees need. Veranga sees the funny side of it. That's helpful. He seems relaxed. So those are the two lads in the bin. Sia will, of course, feel aggrieved because they've got players unavailable due to injury and now two of them unavailable due to ill discipline. That, of course, is something they can help.
Time on.
And looks like Sena Council has prevailed and they'll come back on. Here's the penalty that CRNFC may have been a little upset about. Rahul's on his feet there, but then is he on his elbows? And he gets cleaned out by a player who may be arriving in from the side, we have to say. But the decision to issue the yellow card was quite quick. And that is perhaps what CRNFC were a little upset about. But again, these things happen. And if there needs to be improvements made to the refereeing, that's not something you can address mid-game, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's right. But it's just fortunately, CRNFC after that mini protest have decided to carry on with the game, which is the correct choice, correct decision, and hopefully they will take it up maybe post-match. As Univosa just tries a chip ahead, but unfortunately not able to hold on to the ball.
Well, they were lucky that time. They stopped playing before the referee's whistle went, and Veranga, after that little incident, was almost obliged to give the knock-on, even though he didn't see it, and Munivosa will have a sly smile about it as well. So it's important that CR don't allow this to rattle them even further, because if they're going to make the protest, they might as well make it now and walk away at 20 points to 3. But if this game ends up at 50 points to 6, then they've achieved nothing.
That's right, but yet this game is still within reach, Anaka. I don't think they need to look beyond this game. Still everything to play for. We're still in the first half. True, it's a 17-point deficit, but we've seen teams coming back from bigger margins. As Rasid Silva makes another attempt. The referee has his hand out for a penalty, so advantage for CRNFC. Chandimal playing in his unfamiliar scrum half position.
So Riza Mubarak deliberately almost knocking that ball on. And I think there has been a directive by World Rugby that players shouldn't be doing that.
Number 7.
So Vagisha Veerasinghe was unbound. That's what the penalty is for. And Mubarak will go for touch instead of the penalty.
So if CRNFC can just get some points on the board before half time, just give them a bit of confidence, but down to 14 players, so it will take something slightly exceptional for them to do that.
Farid to Veerasekara, it's quick ball in the line out, so CR not going for their tried and tested driving maul. Murshid Zubair at first receiver now, given that Chanaka Chandimal is at scrum half. Gayan Jayamana does well, but Police's defence does equally well. Kavinda Jayasundara making an important tackle there. Here's Jero Dhananjay back from the sin bin. Good tackle that time, but CRNFC will feel their protest has paid dividends because they've got 2 penalties on the bounce. I would probably go for points here, Abdullah. 20 points to 6 and just keep ticking away.
That's right, probably the last play of this half as well. CRNFC just down to 14 players as well. And looks like they will be going to the post, so Mubarak, experienced player that he is, reading the situation well. Just getting some points before half-time will probably help CRNFC just to calm down. They'll yet have a few minutes to play without their full complement of players. So they're actually down to 13 players, so it's probably the final play of the half.
Mubarak taking his time, running down the clock. And the kick is good from an easy angle for him. And it's 20 points to 6. And there's still a bit of time left on the clock for this half, so it's just 2 converted tries away. And that's a psychological advantage that CRNFC will take with them with that kick, of course. But still, they will need to up the ante a little bit more and not allow what they perceive to be persecution from the referee to allow them not to play their own game.
So they've just got to put that behind them now. Another 40 minutes of rugby remaining, so they can worry about those aspects after the game and let the administrators take care of that. We just got to focus on the task at hand at the moment. Chandimal collects cleanly. Fails to find touch. It's another attacking opportunity for Police. Roshan Fernando taking the ball into contact.
Roshan Silva. And the penalty comes that time for CRNFC for holding on. So again, after the protest, 3 penalties on the trot, and this game has a bit of niggle in it.
That's right. I think for everyone's sake, Shanaga, that half-time whistle cannot come sooner. Just sense that something's going to boil over very soon. And Mubarak finds a wonderful touch finder. So CRNFC over the last 3 or 4 minutes have upped their game. Another wonderful effort. That occasion, it's Tuleb Hassan who managed to get a good base before playing that ball. So another great attacking opportunity for CRNFC. Some form of points from this play will just give them the confidence that they need leading up to that second half and provide for a more entertaining game in that after the breather.
Shamal Veerasekara gets it at the front. It's Murshid Zubair that's gone into a half-back that time. So Zubair moves in where Chandimal leaves off. Rahul De Silva still in the bin. CRNFC trying to be a little patient in their build-up here. And the penalty coming against CR that time on attack.
So Johan Silva just pops the ball into touch after taking the tap, and that'll be half-time. So it's been an interesting first half of rugby by both teams. During the latter part, a bit of niggle as well, but Police deserved leaders going into half-time, 20 points to 6.
We'll see her showing their displeasure quite tangibly by walking to the sideline, refusing to continue with the game for a few moments in that. If you're just joining us here at Police Park, there's been a bit of controversy already, but nothing controversial about Police's lead. 20 points to 6 against a depleted CRNFC team. They've played well, have Police, and deserve every bit of their lead so far. But there's 40 minutes to go, and it's going to be a real cracker, I feel, as we come out, because CRNFC are bristling under the surface. Police will not want to be beaten at home, and of course, above everything, there's second place up for grabs. Highlights will be on in a moment. It's the first kick fired over by Johan Pires to give Police an early lead. And that was a good try by Hashan Fernando at close quarters after the driving maul had been disrupted. Sia hit back with a penalty from Reza Mubarak, but then just didn't have the numbers to get across as Kasan Suranga and Raja Karuna dragged this one as close to the line as they could. And Kavinda Jayasundara, who was on hand, just rolled over for the try there. And here's Jayasundara taking on his second try. That time Chanaka Chandimal not having the fortitude to stand up to the number 8 running straight at him. And that was the scoring as Mubarak knocked over a second penalty for CRNFC as well. So 20 points to 6-2 converted tries ahead. Our Police Sports Club will be back on ThePapare.com with this all-important Dialog Rugby League clash in just a moment.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර් සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? 5කින් දවස මැච් බලන්න පුළුවන් නේ.
දැන් මුළු දවසම ක්‍රිකට්, රග්බි, ෆුට්බෝල්, වොලිබෝල් එකී මෙකී නොකී ඕනෑම තරගයක් බලන්න ඔබට වැය වෙන්නේ රුපියල් 5යි. පිවිසෙන්න. මැච් බලන්න සබස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න.
වෙඩින් එකට තාම හොටෙල් එකවත් බුක් කරලා නැහැනේ.
දෙකින් දෙන්නම් සිදු.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
உங்கள் கிராமத்தில் உங்கள் நகரில் உங்கள் பிரதேசத்தில் உள்ள வீரர்கள் திறமையானவர்களா? அவளின் திறமைகளை நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டுமா? தமிழ் பேசும் உங்களின் திறமைகளை உலகறியச் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கான யூடியூப் சேனல் www.youtube.com/ThePapare Tamil.
Welcome back to Police Park for this needly game between CRNFC and Police Sports Club. Live on ThePapare.com. You're watching the Dialog Rugby League. It's second half action as Police on the right in blue take on the red shirts from Longden Place. It's 20 points to 6 in favour of the home team, and there's been a little niggle. If you're just joining us, CRNFC have protested the refereeing, and when Rahul De Silva was sent to the sin bin, where he still is, I believe. Oh, he's actually gone to the bench, and Harit Bandara will come on in his favour. So that's an interesting call. See Harit Bandara just running on. Rahul De Silva, who's just come back from the sin bin, trudges to the bench, and that will not make him very happy either. So interesting couple of calls from the CR coaching staff. Made a quick change with Stephen Sivaraj leaving very early on in the piece, and Chanaka Chandimal coming on to play. So lots going on in this game. Jero Dhananjay takes, and this time Ashan Fernando drives into Police's defence, which has been good so far. Mubarak under pressure, can only put this one just outside the 22.
It's important for CRNFC to get the first points on the board in this second half, Shanaka. That will go a long way in them trying to mount a comeback. If Police do get those first points, then I have to sense that that will just be the knock-on effect that Police need to run away with this game.
Yes, I think who scores next is going to be a hugely important factor in how this game ends. CRNFC managed to get some points on the board, get into double figures. Perhaps they will start to believe again, but at the moment, Udara Surya Peruma and his Police team have been really good so far. That's a well-controlled drive at the back of that maul. Ashan Fernando joins the back as well. Really well done in the end to get it as far as they did from Police. Primesh Tanushka calling for his forwards to form behind Udara Surya Peruma, who has been the first receiver plenty of times in this match already. And now it goes out to the backs. Haven't seen the best of Vunivosa yet, but it's a long ball for Kasun Suranga. Cutting back infield was Sachit Silva. And the penalty comes. Holding on is the call. And Tuleb Hassan again is a man who wins that penalty. He's gone over the top of that ball a couple of times already.
Yes, I'm not sure that was the best option by the Police backline to just throw the ball out wide. There was absolutely nothing on. Maybe Vunivosa would have done better to just take the ball into contact centre field, where his forwards would have been able to get to the breakdown and create another phase. So on that occasion, Vunivosa probably not making the correct call. His wing three-quarter being isolated and giving CRNFC the opportunity to mount an attack right on the 22.
Well, another, not a poor, but an average decision from Vunivosa. We've grown accustomed to him being really accurate. And well stolen in the front by Police. And it's play on from the referee. No. Was knocked forward, so eventually the call comes, and Johan Pires, who stayed on, will find the safety of touch.
Yes, unfortunately for CRNFC, just couldn't get that accuracy at line-out time, giving Police the opportunity to clear their lines, and Johan Silva once again obliging with a wonderful clearance kick. So these are the opportunities that CR just have to make sure that they do take whenever they do have the opportunity.
Ifam Farid in his first start for CRNFC. Shamal Veerasekara at the back takes it well. And here's the first opportunity for some running for CRNFC, and Mubarak doubling around the back manages to find space inside the 22. And the penalty is coming for CRNFC. Not sure what it's for this time. Like it might be a... Let's try and roll back and see exactly what that was for.
So an opportunity for CRNFC to get the first points on the board. Mubarak, right on the 40-meter mark, dead straight. Pretty routine by his high standards. Strikes the ball well and just goes over. So just what the doctor ordered from CRNFC's point of view. They got the first points of this second half and managed to cut the deficit down to just 11 points.
Well, I was surprised when he wasn't starting for the last few games for CRNFC, Abdullah. Kevin Dixon's defense was average to say the least. And without the opportunity of points, I think they made life difficult for themselves against Kandy also. But Johan Pires now rivals the big boot that Mubarak has. And Jero Dhananjaya now finds some space. Cuts towards the touchline, unfortunately, and the players pile in. Supun Vannakolasuriya is on the park, throws a shoulder into that ruck and looks around very quickly. Mubarak now opts for the safety of the touchline, and Vagesh Veerasinghe, he finds the spot just behind Vagesh Veerasinghe, who started off this game pretty aggressively. Sia have responded, and he now needs to find some composure. Vagesh is an emotional player, so dangerous.
Yes, you're talking about Kevin Dixon and Riza Mubarak regarding Sia's number 15 player, Shanaka. Both those players bring different qualities into the game, isn't it? But Riza just very assured, has the ability to identify space with his boot. Of course, not forgetting his place kicking ability as well. But again,
good defensive work at the line-out by Police Mohan Munaratna, really putting pressure on the front of that line-out. Chanaka Chandimal spending more time appealing than playing. And probably needs to be at the ODI rather than this match if that's what he wants to be doing. Never going to get every call in a rugby match. Sometimes you just got to get on with it. Johan Pires has been good with the touch finding so far, and here's Mubarak has to get across desperately and make a sweeper's tackle that Lotha Matthias would have been proud of, but Harit Bandara and Sadun Herat really combining to make life very difficult for their teams there.
Stott Bandara did really well to keep the ball in play, but unfortunately, Herat just not been able to gather the ball. Of course, got a terrible bounce as well. Again, Riza to the rescue. Sia probably a bit lucky to have got away with that.
Surya Peruma and Sia will drive back, but Police have gone down without it being collapsed this time. This is where they're so dangerous. We've seen them execute this particular aspect of their attack really well throughout the season. Rashid Silva has been one of the front runners. No arms in the tackle, says the referee, as Gayan Jayamana tries to get himself out of the way. Surya Peruma, and that looks like it might have been another high hit. Vunivosa now, Vunivosa dummies, trying to go through the middle. Lovely pass away to Eroshan Silva, just short of the line. Silva did really well to cut back in on the angle, look for the offload from Vunivosa, and now Vunivosa gets a big fend out and will score for his team. He enjoyed that one. So you can see that at close quarters, he likes to do the job, but that knee injury is really holding him back, and I shudder to think, Abdullah, if he was fully fit, what we might have seen from this lad.
That's right, he's virtually playing on one leg, but it's there for all to see the impact that he's making. And he was involved twice in the sequence of that try. First of all, making that initial break and wonderful offload to Eroshan Silva, who carried it forward. And what he did well that time, Shanake, is he went and realigned himself with the backs, and one-on-one situation with that kind of distance. Rafied in, no match whatsoever. So despite those early 3 points for CRNFC, Police hit back. Courtesy Univosa, and now they have further extended that lead, standing at 25 points to 9, with the conversion to come from their fly half Johan Silva.
Well, for CRNFC, it was imperative that they scored. But Police now have a nice cushion from which they can relax and just play no pressure rugby. Abdullah, they can just put the ball into the right areas, use their line out, dominate possession, and close this game out if they're able to maintain their discipline. Johan Pires is an important conversion to take them almost 20 points away. And it's a good kick that time, so it's 27 points to 9. It's an 18-point lead, which is the biggest lead of the evening so far, Abdullah. Previous big lead was 20 points to 3, but now at 27-9, it's a pretty comfortable lead for Police.
Listen, while that try was Police's fourth try, helped them notch up the bonus point as well. But from CR's point of view, the fact that they haven't yet crossed Police's line will definitely concern them.
Primesh Danushka looking for Univosa. They wrap him up well. Murshid Zubair makes a good tackle, but now trying to get some work done through Raja Karuna. And in the end, managed to bundle Raja Karuna into touch.
So it's important that CRNFC just keep their composure, keep their concentration level up more than anything, because if not, this game can turn into a very ugly affair, especially on the scoreboard. Just cannot let their heads drop.
Better line out that time. Big hit on Chanaka Chandimal that time by Police's replacement, Uday Sanjula, who's on in the number 6 jersey. Allowing the fly half to know that it's not going to be easy pickings for him. The penalty was coming. Not coming through the gate as Omalka Gunaratna picks and goes. Harit Bandara now. And that time it's Induvara Ranatunga. Ball available again for Jero Dhananjay, who has been playing his heart out for CR to no avail. Ball across the face of the defense that time for Ifam Farid. No release in that tackle, but the ball comes back CR's way anyway. Chandima for Zubair. Zubair to Dhananjay. Dhananjay, the lovely pass to Riza Rafaidin, who should probably have cut back in field, but instead passed it to a Police player. Now they've taken it quickly. Chandimal still going. Chanaka Chandimal on his own needs to make sure he gets some support. Murshid Zubair is at scrum half again. Now Harit Bandar. Chandimal, buoyed by his previous run, hands off to Ashan Fernando. Sadun Hera desperately calling for it on the far side touchline. Mubarak hears the call and puts it on the money. Does he? No, it's just short. And Uday Sanjula will touch down. Rajakaruna rather will touch down in the end. Herat needed to come in field a little bit and put some pressure on that chase. But looks like they'll go back for another penalty.
That's right. Again, Riza just looking for that crossfield option, but fortunately the bounce of the ball not going CR's way. Nonetheless, it was advantage CR, so another an opportunity. Mubarak on this occasion will have no option but to go for touch. which he does successfully. So 10 meters away from Police's goal line, CRNFC with a great attacking opportunity. We haven't seen Sia execute the driving maul thus far. Good opportunity for them to do that now.
Yes, I'm surprised, even though they've had a few 22-meter lineouts, that they haven't really chosen to do that yet. Maybe with Farid coming in place of Supun Vannakolasuriya, that's something that they would not want. And Vannakolasuriya comes in and throws the ball away. So I thought it was a brave call to start Farid because he is good around the pitch. Offers perhaps a little bit more than Vannakolasuriya. So Farid has stayed on, but Vannakolasuriya has taken the throwing duties, which I find unusual because Vannakolasuriya is a taller player. He's more useful maybe lifting in the line out rather than Farid would be.
So that's a couple of line-out misses that have cost CRNFC whenever they've had some great attacking opportunities. When you're down 27 points to 9, every single chance you get, got to make it count. Playing catch-up rugby is never easy at the best of times. When an opportunity presents itself and you don't take it, just adds to the frustration of the team. Police, to their credit, Shanaka, they have been relatively clinical at line-out time, haven't they? Been a combination of Rasit Silva and Surya Peruma. They've combined extremely well.
There it is again, that combination. Flat, fast and hard to the front, with Mohan Vimalaratne doing the decoy jumping in the middle. So we spoke earlier on in the game, Abdullah, that it was probably one of the better lineouts in the competition, and they've proved us right again today. And goes to show how much ball they've been carrying as well, these two lads.
Yes, the one aspect of Police's play which they'll need to look at is making Surya Peruma carry that ball in, isn't it, Chanak? He's not the biggest of players. If he doesn't get past that gain line, he's always open to being poached. And it has happened on a couple of occasions. So whether you want him to be that first receiver, especially when it's static ball, and when the other defensive line is ready, waiting for it, probably want one of your bigger made players to carry that ball forward.
I think they've probably chosen him for his ball skills, Abdullah. I think the role that he plays there is not to carry the ball forward, but just to distribute to somebody running off him. And that would be the only reason I could think that they're using him. Otherwise, Rasit Silva would be really beautifully stolen that time by Primesh Danushka. Read that like a book. And now Sajid Silva has busted his way forward. So CRNFC throwing away their second line out in quick succession in a scoring position. And Johan Pires sends them all the way back behind the halfway line. This is a man that I would really like to see carrying the ball a little bit more for CR, getting involved, coming in off his wing. Tuleib Hassan, first chance he's got with ball in hand, really. Harit Bandar. Supun Vannakolasuriya is back on the field. Here's Ifam Farid now. Jero Dhananjay working tirelessly for Sia since his start for the club a couple of weeks ago. Sia looking to play this doubling up game, but they're playing it way out near the halfway line, so there's plenty of work they need to do to get towards the try line. Good work that time. Here's Dhananjay again. Carries the ball strongly into contact. You can see why they're giving him so much carrying. Sandun Hera to the lovely ball to Murshid Zubair. Zubair cutting in field. Zubair gives the ball in field. And he scores. Wajid Fahmy coming back into the side. And against his old teammate, Vagisha Veerasinghe manages to score the try. But once again, I cannot understand the call of why Chanaka Chandimal continues to start when a player of the electricity, of the flair of Murshid Zubair is hanging around in this team.
That's right, and he showed why as well. Just his composure and decision making, wasn't it, Chanaka? He had the touchline on one side with the cover defense coming at him. And if you look at that once again, on that occasion, Chandimal just flinging the ball. Lovely hands by Tuleb. Zubair breaking that first line, had the presence of mind to cut in and then offload to Wajid Fahmy to score that try. So that's exactly what you're talking about. Correct decision making, the turn of speed, everything to be seen on that occasion.
The two youngsters getting a deserved clap as they trudge back to halfway. Tuleb and Murshid, who we were talking about just before the start of play. Mubarak hasn't missed a kick today. Showing his coach what he can bring. Looks like it's a water break time again. We have on the hour mark. So will that be the catalyst, Abdullah, do you think? But we haven't seen Tuleb and Zubair hold the ball too much in attack for CR. But that's the first time that they handled it a couple of times in the build-up play and something happens. So it really does get stuck at number 10. Nothing much happens out of that, and I really don't understand why they don't inject either Zubair or Khalidun Andila, who's injured now. But of course, Chanaka Chandimal is probably not your first, second or even third choice option given the squad that CR have.
And also, we want your fly half to take the ball to the line, isn't it? You don't want him to be taking standing passes. You don't want him to be making the first option being to kick the ball. Just want him to run onto the ball, especially when you do get that front foot ball and to make the correct choices. CR do have a few options. Probably looking at the experience factor of Chandimal in that position, but if you don't play in that position long enough, you're not going to learn, and the exposure earlier on in their careers will definitely hold them in good stead going ahead.
The other option, of course, Abdullah, is not one that many people talk about, but that's the option of Rahul De Silva. And he has played at fly half in school. I don't think he enjoys playing the position, to be honest. But in situations like this, when you've got your entire bench decimated by injuries, it really is an opportunity for him to step up and Harit Bandara and Rahul De Silva to combine, because his decision making is outstanding as well. His distribution is really good. He's got a cultured left boot, and just trying him in that position would be something I think that CR could maybe do at training. Rahul also needs to put his hand up and say, hey, hang on, this is something I can do, which would mean that Harit Bandara could come on. Rahul De Silva moves one out, and they have few more options.
Yes, there's no doubt about Rahul De Silva's ability to read the game, and his decision-making is probably second to none in the local rugby scene. He reads the game extremely well. But it will be a big call moving him to that number 10 position. But if he is willing, then it's definitely worth a try.
The first time the ball has been moved around by the CR backs, and they've done the job. But Johan Pires now, the man with the ball in his hand here, just around halfway, will be ensuring that they have to run a long way to do that again. And as I say that, Johan Pires makes his first mistake of the evening. And it's an unusual one as well on his home ground. Perhaps just a little bit of wind behind his back. And CR have a wonderful opportunity to attack from the halfway line. The injection of Wajid Fahmy also will open this game up a little bit more. He's a guy who likes to range follow the ball carriers. Supun Vannakalu Surya binding down at number 8. Hasn't done that since his days at Royal. And seem to have some difficulty with getting Omalka Gunaratne onto the park. Harit Bandara under enormous pressure from Primesh Danushka. And the pass to Reza Mubarak ends up being at his bootlaces.
Yes, that's the danger when you try and make the pass on the same side your scrum half is standing. You're always in danger of being put under a bit of pressure. So these are mistakes that CRNFC have been making in this game at crucial moments. Whenever you just feel that the momentum is slightly moving towards them, either they've not got the line out call correctly, or they've just not managed to get the correct pass. So we have a look at that once again.
So this is where you have to say that a bit more experienced number 8 would have protected his scrum half in that situation. Abdullah just managed to get his leg out. Here's Vunivosa. The pass is well behind, but that's a lovely swerve of the hips by Kasun Suranga. Zubair makes a tackle, but there's a penalty coming for a high tackle, I would think. Primesh Danushka. Mohan Vimalaratne comes in field. Police cleaning out has been good this game, Abdullah.
Yes, it has been, as we have a look at that replay once again. Vunivosa throwing that flat pass.
Murshid Zubair deemed guilty of a high tackle there, and rightly so. It's a seatbelt tackle. Sadun Herat got turned inside out there, and Zubair had to scramble to make the hit. So the importance of a number 8's bind, Abdullah, you've got to give your entire body length. Well, that's CRNFC have chosen to go back, and I'm not sure that's good sportsmanship, really. You can't just walk away when things are not going your way. Sia's crowd has got behind them, but I'm not sure that's anything more than partisanship. Looked like it was very legitimately a high tackle there from Murshid Zubair. And there was very little option for the referee but to do what he did.
Yes, this is just frustration, isn't it, Shanaka? CRNFC, now this is the second time this has happened.
Well, it's just going to be a comedy if they come right back in, isn't it, Abdullah? Because, you know, they've done this once before. And you can't keep stamping your protest like this. It was a high tackle. It was a seatbelt tackle. You can go back and argue whether those seatbelt tackles should be allowed or not, or whether the referee should have more discretion.
Whether it was or not, Shanaka, that's immaterial. I think you've just got to play the game and then make sure that enough pressure is mounted post-game to solve these issues. You don't want to see these kind of interruptions and walkouts. It does no one any good, does it? There are spectators who have come to watch the game, people who are watching it from home. More importantly, there are youngsters at the game who see these things and just don't want to be exposed to these kind of situations.
Certainly not, and it's always, as I said before, good to see that Hasanta Veranga has Dinka Piris to rely on there. Sheikh Hussain, the manager of CRNFC, having a word with the match commissioner. And it looks like they're saying that the match is going to be forfeited. And that looks like it brings us to the end of the game, 26 points to 16. 13 minutes left on our clock. maybe a little bit more on the referee's clock, maybe close to 15 minutes. And Police will get a bonus point win. The game is forfeited. And according to the rule, whoever is leading in the second half when a game is forfeited wins the game. And they win with a bonus point because of the 4 points, and they will now stake a legitimate claim to number 2 on the Dialog Rugby League. This is ugly stuff. We don't want to see games ended like this. And I think it's really unfortunate for Sia, who used the process as well last week, who have now resorted to arbitrary action on their part to stage a protest.
Yes, it's very unfortunate. You just don't want to see these kind of situations. Both the calls that they probably acted on immediately, I don't think you could totally blame the referee as well, which is the unfortunate part of things. Probably they go back and they have a look at the video. They'll probably be able to see that. But regardless, I don't think you want to ever see this during a game of rugby.
Certainly not, Abdullah. We've had a wonderful Dialog Club Rugby season so far. We've had obviously issues with refereeing, but if you take the World Cup from a few months ago, even in that World Cup, at the highest level, at the echelon of the game, we've seen issues had with referees. And it's something that plagues the game. And it's just something that you have to take on the chin and just be better than asking the referee to make a 50-50 call. You've just got to be better than that. And that's something that I don't think we have been able to do. And we asked to award a player of the match, Abdullah, and that's going to be an interesting one. We've had 2 tries from, I think, Kavinda Jasundara, who I thought was really good today at the back of the Police scrum. We had Imosi Vunivosa, who scored a try as well, but perhaps not at his brilliant best this time. We had Kasun Suranga in the number 9 jersey, who I thought was really good for Police also. And then Vagisha Veerasinghe, who did a lot in attack and even more probably in defense. So those are the options I'm giving you, mate.
It was a bit of a tough one. I thought most of those players did well, but I thought Johan Silva in his own way also was quite outstanding. Johan Pires, the fly half, I thought he was very good with his boot as well. His tactical play, I thought, was played a big part in keeping CRNFC at bay. I thought his decision making in terms of distribution was very good as well. So while the names you mentioned, probably for me, he was the standout player in his own way. And probably was slightly the difference between both those teams. So that would be my man of the match.
Got to agree with you there, Abdullah, because he played a very intelligent game, kept Police in the right parts of the pitch, knew when to kick, knew when to pass, orchestrated this attack really well also, and carried the ball strongly when he needed to. So Johan Pires today is the man of the match in this truncated encounter. So the match has been forfeited, not something you see every day. And Police will win with a bonus point. 28 points to nil is how it goes. And that's the start of the scoring from Police. And here's Imosi Vunivosa, who scored the first try of the second half to really take the game away from Sia. And Johan Pires with the conversion as well. Here's the only try that's scored by CRNFC, Murshid Zubair. Lovely handoff here to Wajid Fahmy. And a superb try in the end. And Riza Mubarak was probably the dead-eye dick tonight because he didn't miss a kick. But to no avail because his team chose to forfeit the game. So key stats there. CRNFC forfeiting this game. So Police get that 28 points to nil win, 28 points to 17 win. 4 tries, 4 conversions for Police. Penalty as well early on. And the player of the match, Johan Pires.
Yes, so regardless of the situation, you'd have to say on the day Police were definitely the better team, Shanak. I don't think that is in dispute. It's just that unfortunately, just hope that there were no preconceived notions before this game started, that Sia had an issue with the referee. Just don't want to see that kind of thing. But this is the final weekend of the regular season. Games up next week. Army Sports Club will take on Navy Sports Club. This is all just the precursor to that Super League round. CRNFC will be at home taking on CHNFC. Havelock Sports Club will be taking on Air Force Sports Club, and Kandy will round up events with the second place team, which would probably be the game of the week up in Kandy.
Certainly will be all those 3 games on Sunday and one on Friday as well. So no games next Saturday. You see the schools rugby starting up as well. So going to be a very interesting weekend, especially with Police taking on Kandy, with Imosi Vunivosa having a nice rest perhaps this time to just unleash himself against those white shirts of Kandy who are playing Havelocks today. We'll bring you news of that. Of course, you can switch over on ThePapare.com to watch that game and see how that unfolds. But an unfortunate end to the events here at Police Park. CRNFC walking out in the 65th minute, forfeiting that game against Police, and perhaps with it giving up a chance to be the second place team in the Dialog Rugby League. That's it from us today from Police Park in Havelock Town. From Abdullah Yusuf, myself, and the rest of the ThePapare crew, it's goodbye for now.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්ම නම් නරකයි. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර් සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? 5කින් දවස මැච් බලන්න පුළුවන්නේ.
දැන් මුළු දවසම ක්‍රිකට්, රග්බි, ෆුට්බෝල්, වොලිබෝල් එකී මෙකී නොකී ඕනෑම තරගයක් බලන්න. ඔබට වැය වෙන්නේ රුපියල් 5යි. පිවිසෙන්න. මැච් බලන්න සබස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න.
වෙඩින් එකට තාම හොටෙල් එකවත් බුක් කරලා නැහැනේ.
දෙකින් දෙන්නම් සුදු. අලු සීටිකක් දැම්ම නම් නරකයි. දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.